Hey guys, on today's video, we're going to talk about the Three Jokers comic. Issue 1 just came out. We're going to do a review of what happened and what we love from it. Stay tuned.
We are the Jersey Comic Crew, and we are here bringing you the news and reviews of your favorite comics, movies, and TV shows. As always, I am Chris Helen. With me is Rob Moran.
What's up, guys? Yes, thank you for that beautiful intro. Like we said before, this video, we're going to talk about the Three Jokers comic. Issue number 1, we're going to talk about our favorite moments from it, what happens in the book. Full spoiler warning, so be aware. Chris, I wanted to talk, first thing I wanted to touch base on with this book, it is a perfect book to jump onto. A lot of the books that we tend to review, we talk about, you got to have some knowledge beforehand, and we kind of break it down to you.
Yeah.
You could jump into this comic, and the only thing you need to know is that Batman is Bruce Wayne, right? Like, this book...
if you are living under a rock, so original.
Right?
If you don't know anything about Batman or Bruce Wayne or the Joker, this would be a great story. I mean, you kind of have to know, like, Killing Joke, Death of the Family.
You kind of don't, because it kind of shows you it, right? So, like, that's one of the beauties of this book, for me.
Yeah.
Like, it shows, like, 3 quick scenes that we're going to touch base on, like, for a moment. The first scene, we see Batman, right? And, like, he's hurt, and Alfred is cleaning him up and fixing another wound. And it's very minimal talking, and we see scars. And then after you see the scar, you kind of see how that was caused. Whether it's Batman breaking it back, Joker spraying acid, Killer Croc taking a bite out of him.
That was the one where I was like, ooh.
It was, yeah. I was like...
The bite was, like, the one I was like, okay, that hurt. Even though he got his back broken.
Exactly.
It was
like, they
the
all
bite
hurt.
that I was like, oh.
But it helps to build up that, like, Batman's been through a lot, right? And, like, you get that moment. Like, he's a scarred man who's been through a lot. Then we see Barbara Gordon. And you might not know her, like, if you're brand new into the comics. But even if most of you who are watching this aren't, you see her on the treadmill. She's watching an ad on TV. Talk about restless leg syndrome.
Yeah.
And then we see her in the shower. We see scars. And then we see Joker, like, caused that damage, right? He shot her. And that's from the Killing Joke that Chris is talking about, where he pretty much paralyzes her. Yeah. Then we move on to Jason's story.
And maybe even more.
Yes. And that's a whole conversation for another day.
Absolutely.
Then we see Jason's story real quick. And we see him as the Red Hood, and he's beating up goons, shooting a gun. And then we see Joker brutally assaulting him. So right in the first couple of pages, it kind of gives you the whole history of these 3 people and the relationship with the Joker, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was done very well. And Chris, we were talking about before, the art on this book, bar none. Fantastic.
I mean, Fabok is a rock star now, right? Like, he does exactly what he wants to do when he wants to do it. Like, Jeff Johns has kind of brought him up. I remember having a conversation at a Comic-Con a couple years ago with David Finch, who's another amazing rock star in the industry, where I remember he was actually drawing a Batman sketch for me. And I was like, Fabok kind of has a little bit of your style. And Finch was like, it's funny you say that, because, like, he's come to my house a bunch of times to, like, and we do work together, and I've been kind of teaching him some of my artist strokes. So Fabok has a little Finch in him, but man, this book took it to the next level, and he had some time, obviously with COVID, to work on it, and it shows, man. It really shows.
So let me ask you a question. This whole book revolves around the concept that there's 3 Jokers, right? We got previous like hints of it in other story arcs. And which surprised me, we actually saw all 3 Jokers working together and their plan in this first book. Now, Chris, I know you're more along the lines of a purist in comics compared to me. Like, I'm more accepting to change and craziness. And you're like, I kind of want things to stay the same, but, like, better stories, right? So, with this twist of Joker, a classic, iconic character right here, this is the one from The Killing Joke.
Yep.
Right? The fact that there are now 3 of them, and they want to make a new Joker. Like, that's the plot of the story. They want to make another Joker, a 4th Joker. How does that play to you? Like, does this upset you? Does this excite you? What, like, I'm very curious to see your thoughts.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the middle at the moment, because I love, like, I think what makes Joker arguably the best villain of all time, in everyone's top 5 or top 3, is the mystery of him, right? You don't know if he's immortal. You don't know how he survives. Like he looks like just a regular guy in a suit. How does he survive these brutal
Right.
Batman like thrashings every time he goes up against him? And how does he get worse and worse and crazy? How does he keep escaping? And what makes him tick? I think the best part of the Joker is the mystery. I recall a Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, New 52 Batman arc later in their run when they had the Joker kind of doing the rebirth through that like pond
Oh
thing with the
yes.
chemical in it.
Yes, I remember that.
Um, and they had an issue where like Batman opens this old like 1930s newspaper, and it's like,
Mm.
and you see the Joker in the background and everywhere. That scared the ever living piss out of me, and I was like 22.
Yeah.
That issue kept me up at night.
Oh God, that
Literally,
that happened that long ago?
yeah, that's how long ago it was.
Wow, we're old.
Like that issue kept me up at night. Just the thought of like he's been around this long, and it's almost like Batman already knows he's in a never-ending fight, but with
Mhm.
this guy, it's even worse. So
Like he feels like almost eternal.
yeah, and so I think the concept that Jeff Johns and Fabok brought to the table back when they did Justice League was this three Jokers. I think it's a mystery story. It's a Batman detective story,
Mm-hmm.
which are all things I love the most about Batman is the detective side, the mystery solving side, the fact that he's not necessarily beating you to a pulp, but more so he's the smartest guy in the room.
So I have a theory with this. I want to throw it at you. So as we stand right now, there are the three Jokers are kind of categorized into the comic. The one is the criminal, and then what was the last one?
Yeah.
The insane.
The criminal, the comic, and the clown.
The clown. There we go. So I think the most recent out of the three is the quote unquote criminal. Like that's obviously the one who cut off his face, put it back on, and he's also
Yeah,
like the boss of them.
but I
I
thought it was the original. I thought it was because the three are based on different time periods of Batman. So one of the Jokers is the Killing Joke version, the one you have on right next to
yeah.
you. One of them is the like Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams, the book I have, the Joker's Five Way Revenge.
That's the one that they
with
confront
the
in
giant
this one.
card. Yes,
But he's not the one sitting behind the desk when they're all together.
no, I think it's the Killing Joke one.
You think it's this one?
I think it's that one because the third one is the current like New 52 through like now Joker that Snyder's built up, like Joker War Joker with Tinian and those guys. Like it's kind of like Silver Age, Bronze Age,
Okay.
current age of comics Joker.
Okay.
And
So
to me, this like I think what you were kind of getting at is the plot line is the Joker for the next generation. Like every generation has a Joker that's made from the same stuff that made the Joker, just worse. Like they make him ruthless, they make him, you know, even more maniacal. They take whatever flaws they see in themselves and try to erase that with the next version. That's what it seems like.
that could be. So that's one theory. That's one of my theories. That like that's
Yeah.
why we saw Joker in the past, right? In the 20s, like Joker's always been there, and like each Joker gets twisted in their more unique version. I I think it's more localized, if that makes sense. I think it's
Okay.
more that the one Joker is the main Joker, and he's always been the real Joker. But he's made these other Jokers, right? These people that believe that they're Jokers, and he's implanted memories in their head. Like these people that are running around there that are the quote unquote the Joker. I don't
Mhm.
think they're the actual Joker who've done these acts. I think these are just people brainwashed and acting like on like a whole nother level that the Joker got to make Batman think that there are multiple of him and there always have been. So that way they throw Batman off his game. So
Yeah,
like
and we've seen in a billion mediums, like whether it's Gotham's TV show, other comic books, movies, like, oh, this isn't the main Joker. This guy, is the original, like what promotes the guy who eventually becomes the Joker.
yeah, I
Um,
think it's just a brainwashed douche and like all part of the
yeah,
Joker's plan. And I don't think the Joker's this immortal entity. I think that's taking him too far. I think it's more like,
yeah,
oh, he's making plans. He wants to make a fourth Joker, and he's telling these two that plan, so that way it gets leaked to Batman, so Batman gets even more freaked out. I think this is all a mind game, and like
I could see that.
one of the big things that happened in this book that makes me believe that is that ultimately, they confront one of the Jokers. They find where they're hiding the vat, right? They found acid, like this Joker acid, was stolen from Ace Chemicals. Batman
they stole a truck, right?
Yeah, they stole a truck. They find it. It's at like the Gotham Aquarium, and we see these images of like these smiling fish, the smiling shark.
The Joker gas fish.
They eventually capture Joker, right? And Red Hood has done something that a lot of fans have always wanted, right? You know, Red Hood always has wanted to kill Joker for the things he's put him through. Everybody's like, just kill the Joker to end the cycle. Red Hood shoots, Barbara Gordon misses and tries to stop him. The Joker dies, right?
Yeah.
Huge, mind-blowing, jaw to the floor. I freaked out.
Page turn, bullet brains.
Like, and that makes me believe like that was just a stooge. Like that was not the real Joker, because I can't see them even killing a real version of the Joker who done these acts. That's why I think it's a whole big plan just to mess with the Bat family.
Well, here's the issue with that.
Okay.
The way that we got the information that there are 3 Jokers is because Batman sat on the Mobius chair. And for those of you who don't know,
right.
Mobius is kind of like the DC version of the Watcher. He sits on this like kind of futuristic fourth world tech throne that can like basically answer any question, or, you know, it's all knowing. And Batman had to sit on the throne to stop the Darkseid War, and asked like, who is the Joker? Basically one of the only questions Batman's never figured out. And we didn't know what the answer was, right? It never told us, and so we found out later that there are 3 Jokers. So that's the only plot hole. Like, if the Mobius chair says there's 3 Jokers, then there's 3 Jokers. But the way it could be, obviously with writing and different things, a stretching of the truth. Another theory is there's one Joker, and he makes up all these minions, but in his head there are 3. Right? There's one Joker who's kind of lived and been reborn or whatever throughout this whole time, but he remembers his different selves, and he's a schizophrenic, which could be totally in that alley.
That could be true. Like,
he's like seeing different versions of himself and talking to them because he is completely insane.
It kind of like almost like a Joker reincarnation, if you will. Like,
yeah, like and we know he knows about the Lazarus pits, right? And what do we know about the Lazarus pits? It makes you crazy. If you get put in them, they make you insane for a while. So if he has been kind of renewing himself in the Lazarus pits, maybe secretly.
What if he does it like here's a crazy cool idea. Like in the Lazarus pit, the Joker himself jumps in. Well, he pours. Maybe it's a special one. He pours these chemicals into it, jumps in it with another body, like a regular person, and because of the magic of the Lazarus pit combined with the chemicals and 2 people being in there, like consciousness gets to be carried over to the next person.
Maybe.
And then he's the main one.
Harley had the same effect, and she was this brilliant doctor, right? That, you know, she jumped into the pit willingly, the Ace Chemical pit, and was kind of went nuts and transformed like him.
That would be cool. I like the idea that I just put out. Like consciousness travels. There's a new 4th Joker, and the original one stays where he was and doesn't really change because he kind of hides in the shadows and does his own thing.
Maybe. It's gonna be a really crazy revealing story because there's so many questions and there's only 3 books.
That's right. There's only 3 books.
Only 3 books, right? And we've already gotten through 1, and we have more questions than not, which I'm sure 2 and 3 are gonna kind of leave us the same way, right? So like I think as far as that, there's a couple ways you can look at it, which we've just talked about, but I think 2 things. I think one, I think it's big to know that Jim Gordon does not know Barbara's Batgirl right now.
True, that's good. That's big.
Wherever you're going to put that in the timeline, good luck. And number 2 is the ending of this book, which you talked about in the beginning, of just like, you know, we know Jason blows his brains out. I think the why is more important than Jason actually killing him.
The why he killed him?
Yes. Well, and I think...
What do you mean?
Well, I think so. When Joker's tied up and he's having the conversation, he's got the cards falling out of his arm, and, you know, Batman does the line of, like, he's always got something up his sleeve. I think the conversation between Joker, Barbara, and Jason before Jason eventually kills him is really important. And that conversation is, you know, basically talking about the scars. This whole issue, the central is the scars and kind of the memories that never go away, the stuff that has happened that can't go away. Because we see Bruce all cut up, we see Barbara's like bullet hole near her spine, and the after effects of her legs. Right now, she's running on treadmills and breaking them because she has to prove to herself that she can be better than anything. And we see Jason has like this scar on his head from where Killing Joke, where Death of the Family happened, where Joker beat him to death, literally. Yeah. So Joker's kind of like taunting him, right? Like he's like, I want, basically almost like Dark Knight, right? Like, I want you to do it. I want you to kill me, blah, 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 where he's driving up to him.
Exactly. He's like, you're my Robin. That's what this is all about. Like, you're really working
brings
for me.
To the point where he mentions how he broke Jason, and it wasn't with the crowbar. It was the pain and anguish and fear where Jason pleaded for his life and said, I'll be your Robin. I'll do whatever. Just please don't kill me. And Joker starts laughing. He's like, you've been my Robin this whole time. You've been out there like breaking Batman's heart and making his life miserable because now you take guns and kill people as his ex-Robin when you know your ex-boss basically hates guns and refuses. Like, you've been my Robin this whole time, dude. Like, you just haven't seen it.
That's crazy, right? To think
that's
about.
Nuts. Which is also something that, I don't know, like, personally, I've always thought of Jason Todd as, like ever since, like, becoming Red Hood. And he's also like, you became the Red Hood. That was my moniker.
Yeah.
Like, I was the original Red Hood. Why else would you take my name and all this stuff?
That's
I
a cool
was always
twist.
like, I'm like, Red Hood is kind of like him becoming Joker's apprentice now. So I thought that coming to fruition and Jeff Johns kind of writing that in action was really powerful and really setting the tone. And also Barbara kind of being the angel of the group of like, how could you kill him?
Like,
and Jason being like, Jason's like, well, you threw that battering at me. When was the last time you missed?
True. Like, and
she's like, screw you, Jason. And walks away. And she's crying because she knows she wanted him dead. Yeah, because if this is the same Joker, right, if we're thinking time-wise, if this is the same Joker that shot Barbara, it's also around the same time that Jason got killed.
Yeah.
And that would be the culmination of revenge on what happened to both of them, which is also why they're integral to the story.
You made a good analogy with Batgirl that I wanted to touch base on. Like, if you look at these three, like the trio, Batman, Batgirl, and Red Hood in this story, like, if Batman is like the center core, like the neutral, you have Batgirl that's going to be more positive, more optimistic, try to err on the side of good.
Yep.
And then you have Jason, the Red Hood, is going to be more aggressive, more on blurred lines, more on the side of, I don't want to say darkness, but violence.
But he's an anti-hero.
Yeah, the anti-hero, right? Like, they're both going to be trying to pull Batman into this 3 different directions. And I like that we have 3 of the heroes working on this compared to the 3 Jokers. I think it plays off each other very nicely. I can't wait for the second issue. I think it's going to be great.
And I think the one thing I want, like, a little more is I think we needed this, like, Barbara and Jason part of this.
Yes.
To get this even to the next level, because now a Joker's dead and you killed, and this is an issue, even though he's killed thousands.
Exactly.
But I want now, going forward, this detective Batman-centric, like, you know, drawn, like, you know, Charlie Day Wall of what the hell's going on.
I'm sure we're going to get that.
And I also, obviously, the plot thickening with Joker, right? Because we do have a missing Ace Chemicals tanker.
Yeah, because that wasn't all the chemicals.
That wasn't all of them. And, you know, they're hiding out in this cabin in the woods on the outskirts of Gotham, planning something. And the question is there going, like, is 3 Jokers the beginning title, or is 3 Jokers the end title?
Ooh.
And by that I mean, we have 3 Jokers in the beginning. Now we have 2.
Do we get a third one to replace him?
I think it's Jason. Because I think
I
think that
you're crazy.
I am, but I think killing him is passing the torch to, he's ready. He went over the edge. He finally snapped fully. I think it's Jason, and this is the second. And here's the other reason, right?
All right, I'm ready.
Return of the Jedi. I know I do everything with Star Wars.
Okay.
So the scene where the Emperor and Luke and Vader are in the throne room, and the Emperor is testing Luke to turn him to the dark side, and he has his lightsaber, and he's like, "You want this, don't you?"
Do it.
And he's like,
Do it.
Take your weapon, strike me down." He goes, "I'm unarmed." He goes, "And your journey to the dark side will be complete." Luke doesn't do it to save his own soul and become a Jedi and save his father, thus creating the prophecy of Anakin Skywalker.
An insane
Jason
twist.
was kind of in the same direction, right? Joker's basically edging him on. Do it, strike me down, I'm unarmed, kill me, and your journey to the dark side will be complete. But Batman wasn't there to say, "Don't do it, Jason." And Barbara was not as strong enough to stop him because she didn't want to stop him.
Oh,
So
bro.
he did the
that's crazy.
opposite of the Luke Skywalker and might now become the next Joker.
Well, we'll find out in issue 2 and 3. People, we want to hear your thoughts on this issue.
Did I blow your mind?
You did, and I'm sure a lot of people watching and listening are having to clean up their brains off the floor. So,
hey, like and subscribe then. I got
Exactly.
more where that comes from.
like, subscribe, make sure you follow us for more videos like this.
Even
let
if
us
I'm completely
know-
wrong.
Dude, I don't care. I'm going to be thinking about that till the next issue comes out.
Hey,
We want to hear your thoughts. Let us know what you thought of the book down below. If you haven't picked it up yet, have we convinced you to pick it up yet? And more
Pick it up.
importantly, what
Gorgeous.
is your theory that happens next with the 3 Jokers? Is there a new Joker? Is there just one? Let us know. And as always, I'm Rob Moran,
I'm Chris Heller.
and we'll see you next time.